Why smart people stay broke. The psychology nobody talks about. You know how money works. You understand budgeting. You've read about investing. You know you should spend less than you earn. You've watched the videos, maybe even made a plan once or twice. And yet nothing changes. The account stays the same. The savings never grow. The month ends, and somehow the money is just gone. And the worst part, you can't even explain where it went. This isn't an intelligence problem. Some of the most financially stuck people on the planet are also some of the smartest. Doctors who can't save. Engineers living paycheck to paycheck. Graduates with six-figure salaries and zero net worth. Knowledge isn't the issue. If knowledge fixed money problems, every economics professor would be a millionaire. The real problem runs deeper. It's psychological, it's emotional, and it's been operating in the background of every financial decision you've ever made without you even knowing it was there. 1. Your brain wasn't built for money. Money is a modern invention. Your brain is not. The human brain evolved over hundreds of thousands of years to solve immediate problems. Find food now. Avoid danger now. Seek rewards now. The concept of saving an abstract resource for an invisible future payoff is completely foreign to your brain's original operating system. This is why spending feels good and saving feels like deprivation. It's why a dirty triggers excitement even when you didn't need the item. It's why you can logically know you shouldn't buy something and still buy it 30 seconds later. Your brain isn't malfunctioning. It's running exactly the software it was designed to run. The problem is that software was written for a world that no longer exists. And in the modern financial environment, that ancient wiring costs you thousands of dollars every single year. 2. The identity trap. Here's the one nobody talks about. Most people don't have a spending problem. They have an identity problem. Every purchase you make is a statement about who you are or who you want to be seen as. The car you drive, the clothes you wear, the restaurant you choose, the phone in your pocket. None of these are purely functional decisions. They are identity signals, and your brain is willing to pay almost any price to protect and project the identity it has built. This is why lifestyle inflation is so dangerous and so invisible. When income goes up, spending goes up to match it, not because you need more, but because your identity upgrades automatically. You start to feel like someone who earns this much should live like this. And that feeling is more powerful than any budget. The trap is that you're not spending money. You're spending money to feel like yourself. And that makes it almost impossible to cut back without feeling like you're losing something fundamental about who you are. The fix isn't discipline, it's identity reconstruction. You have to consciously decide what kind of person you want to be, and make sure your spending reflects that person, not the person you've been performing for everyone else. 3. Present bias. Why the future always loses. Your brain has a built-in bias toward the present. A reward available right now is worth dramatically more to your brain than the same reward available in the future. Psychologists call this hyperbolic discounting, and it explains almost every bad financial decision ever made. Why you spend the bonus instead of saving it. Why you swipe the card today and worry about the bill later. Why retirement feels abstract and unreal no matter how many times someone explains compound interest to you. The future version of you, the one who needs that savings account, who will pay off that debt, who will wish you started investing 10 years ago, feels like a stranger, a different person entirely. And your brain sees no compelling reason to sacrifice comfort today for a stranger's benefit tomorrow. Studies have shown that when people are shown age-progressed photos of themselves, their face aged 30 years. They dramatically increase their retirement savings contributions. Because suddenly, the future self becomes real, becomes recognizable, becomes worth protecting. You don't have a discipline problem. You have a future self problem. And the solution isn't to try harder. It's to make the future feel closer. Oven, the scarcity mindset loop. This one affects people who grew up without money more than anyone else. When your brain experiences scarcity, when money feels tight or uncertain, it shifts into tunnel vision mode. All cognitive resources narrow to the immediate problem. How do I get through this week? How do I cover this bill? How do I survive right now? This tunnel vision is brilliant for short-term crisis management, but it completely destroys long-term financial thinking. When you're in scarcity mode, the brain literally cannot properly evaluate future consequences, plan ahead, or resist immediate temptation. It's not a character flaw, it's neuroscience. And here's what makes it a trap. The stress of financial scarcity consumes so much cognitive bandwidth that people make worse decisions, which leads to worse financial outcomes, which creates more scarcity, which creates more stress. The loop feeds itself. People don't stay broken because they're bad with money. They stay broken because scarcity rewires their decision-making in ways that make escaping scarcity exponentially harder. Breaking the loop requires one thing first: creating even a small financial buffer. Not a full emergency fund, not a retirement account. Just enough breathing room to get the brain out of crisis mode, so it can start thinking clearly again. 5. Social spending, the invisible drain. You are spending money every day to manage other people's opinions of you. The dinner you didn't want to wait, but went anyway. The round of drinks you bought because everyone else did. The gift you overspent on because you didn't want to look cheap. The holiday you couldn't afford, but booked because everyone in your group was going. Social spending is the most invisible category in any budget because it never feels like a choice. It feels like obligation, like survival. Because socially, in some ancient part of your brain, being excluded from the group still registers as a threat. And companies know this. Entire industries are built on engineering social pressure into purchasing decisions. Limited time. Everyone has one. Don't be left out. The fear of missing out isn't a modern invention. It's a prehistoric survival instinct being exploited for profit. The antidote is simple, but uncomfortable. You have to get clear on which spending is genuinely yours, aligned with your values, your goals, your actual life, and which spending is renting social approval you don't actually need. Most people have never asked that question, and most people stay broke because of it. 6. The knowledge gap was never the real gap. Smart people stay broken not because they lack information, but because information alone has never changed behavior. You can know that compound interest is powerful and still spend the money. You can know that the latte isn't what's draining your account and still feel helpless about what is. You can read every personal finance book ever written and still end the month confused about where everything went. Because the problem was never in your head. It was always underneath it. In the emotional patterns, the identity attachments, the social pressures, the ancient brain wiring running quietly in the background of every single financial decision you make. Fixing your finances doesn't start with a spreadsheet. It starts with understanding why you spend the way you spend, not judging it, not forcing willpower over it. Understand it. Once you see the pattern clearly, the identity signal, the present bias, the scarcity loop, the social pressure, you stop fighting yourself. You stop wondering why discipline never sticks. You start building systems that work with your psychology instead of against it. 7. The one shift that changes everything. Stop trying to spend less. Start designing a life where the right spending happens automatically. Automate savings so the decision is made before your brain gets involved. Remove the friction from good financial behavior and add friction to bad financial behavior. Make the future feel real by writing a specific letter to yourself 10 years from now. And most importantly, separate your identity from your spending. Decide who you are before you open your wallet. Because the moment your self-worth stops depending on what you buy, money stops being an emotional problem. And the moment it stops being emotional, it finally becomes manageable.